Good morning and good Friday to you and your families. Thank you for making us a part of your morning on this Oilers TV live pregame show. I'm your host, Tony Brar. It's certainly been a weird stretch for the Edmonton Oilers when considering their opponents. Of course, last week they were supposed to take on the Montreal Canadiens for 3 games to begin a pretty lengthy road trip, but obviously that was halted and it turned into a quick 3-game road trip. But the focus is on tonight, round 7 of the Battle of Alberta. Looks like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' media availability is starting now at Rogers Place. Let's go to the Oilers Hall of Fame room now.
Hey Ryan, how you doing this morning?
Good.
I just wanted to ask you about, obviously the scheduling now looks like it's going to get weird again with the Canucks situation. You just came back from a long road trip. You play 1 game here, and now you're going to head back out east. Just give me a thought on just trying to wrap your head around all this.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Vancouver going through this right now, so we're kind of just taking it day by day, and all that we can do is get ready to play. And obviously, if they reschedule, we got to prepare for that too. But yeah, it's obviously it's a big game tonight, and then we'll move forward from that. But obviously, focus on tonight, and yeah, like you said, back out east for 3. And then I think that's probably our last Eastern trip this year, other than going back to Montreal now. But yeah, so we just got to get this one tonight. Obviously, like I said, it's a big one, and yeah, then worry about the rescheduling and what else happens. It's definitely out of our control.
And with the situation in Vancouver, does it kind of reaffirm to everyone in the league how important it is to stay vigilant and when it comes to, keeping safe and things like that? Because this thing could spread in a room pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you're in a dressing room together. If it's not going to be the hardest place to spread it around, so I think it's you got to be smart. You got to be careful and taking all the right precautions. And I mean, knock on wood, so far we've done a good job of that, and everybody in the room's been good with it. So I got to keep that up for sure.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Ryan, does it seem odd, though, that you're back east and you came all the way home and you're only going to play the 1 game and then you got to go back east again? It seems like, a very strange situation. You'd like to have at least played 2 games on the weekend to say that was worth coming home for.
Yeah, I mean, and we were supposed to get 5 in on this last road trip too, and that's just kind of the way that this season is. It's you got to roll with it, and up until last week, I mean, I guess it was last week. This division's been really good about it. There's been no issues, and so I mean, unfortunately, it's come now. So we just kind of got, like I said, got to roll with it and worry about each game as they come.
So Ryan, about the last 60 games, you've played considerably more games on the wing than at center. So do you consider yourself a winger now, more so than a center?
I don't know. I think I can go back and forth. I was playing center most of the time on the road trip, and I have no problem jumping back in there. Tonight I'll be on the wing again, and yeah, I mean, now that I've kind of gone back and forth, especially more so this year, like jumping back and forth from center to wing, it's easier to transition. It doesn't take the shifts that it usually are used to take to get kind of back into it. I mean, it's an easy transition now for me to get into.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Hi, Ryan. I know every game against Calgary is, it's exciting. You kind of get up for those games. But, given where you guys are in the standings, a 10-point lead on them, and a win in regulation would really kind of put you guys in a good spot and them in a crummy spot. Do you kind of sense that? Is there kind of a little bit of an added importance to this game because of that?
I think coming down the stretch here, every game is so important. We know where these guys are at. We know where we're at. Obviously, we're focused on ourselves. We want to get as many points as we can, and we know they're going to be pushing. We definitely know that. We saw that last time we were in Calgary. There's two pretty hard-fought games, and so we expect that tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's every game is so important now, and it's just about building those points up for ourselves.
Have you noticed much? I know you've only played them a couple times since the coaching change, but a change in their style, a big change in their style rather, since the coaching change?
Well, I think they've kind of always been work-based, but they're definitely a work-based team right now, and they're going to put pucks in. They're going to put pressure on our D, so forwards can try and slow guys down coming through the neutral zone and stuff like that. And on the other side of things, I mean, we got to establish our game right away, and we're playing our best when we're putting pucks in and getting that forecheck going and playing with 5 guys and using our speed.
Tony Brar, Oilers TV.
Ryan, as you've already mentioned, you guys have dealt with a lot of uncertainty over the last week, and now I know it's not ideal coming home for one and then going back on the road, but coming into tonight, where do you gauge the energy levels after kind of sleeping in your own bed for a couple of days and skating on your home ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday was a good practice to kind of get the legs back into it, and we should be feeling good tonight. We've had a couple days off after a pretty long road trip, but I mean, we know that we go on the road in a couple days, but obviously right now we're focused on getting this one tonight and move forward from there.
Thanks.
Rob Tuchkowski, Post Media.
Hi, Ryan. How confident are you guys that this season will make it to the finish line and they won't maybe revert to points or winning percentage like they did last year? Is that something that you have to be like more focused on now, winning every game and making sure that percentage is high, because you never know?
Yeah.
At the end of the season's getting jammed up there. They might run out of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously tough to say at this point. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if Vancouver will be the last team. I mean, hopefully they're the last team that gets it. But I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen right now. So it's you kind of got to take it day by day, game by game, and obviously these points are so important, and we need to know that and recognize that, and we do. So we go in every night wanting to take 2 points out, and that's going to be our focus every night from now on.
Is it easy to shut all that stuff out and just focus on hockey, or is it kind of poking in the back of your minds day to day?
I mean, it's obviously there, especially days that you don't play. Yesterday, the day before, we were hearing about what's happening, and there's some uncertainty, and you find out. But I mean, it's out of our control. There's not much we can do. I don't know what's going to happen next week with Vancouver either. So we just kind of got to roll with it. And like you said, I mean, these points are huge, and we got to make sure that we bear down each night.
Jim Matheson.
You played for Brent Sutter. Did Brent's coaching style have anything like Daryl Sutter's coaching style?
I actually only got to play for Brent in World Championships one year, and so obviously it's a little different there. But he was kind of the owner, and when I was in Red Deer, but I think they kind of do have similar styles. The teams obviously are going to work, and I think right now they're simplifying things. They're putting pucks in. They're trying to create offense from there, and I mean, we saw that the 2 games in Calgary, so we should know what to expect. We played these guys a few times, obviously, now this year, and we just got to worry about our game and make sure that we're playing with our speed and putting pressure on them.
One other question. Milan Lucic is only 4 games from 1,000. What do you remember about him as an Oiler?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good run with Luch here, obviously, and he was a lot of fun to play with. He's had a great career, and it's cool to see him almost getting to 1,000 now.
Thank you. This concludes our Nugent-Hopkins media availability. Questions, please use the raise hand function. Start with Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Spec.
More news on the COVID front out of Vancouver. And, you know, you got a couple games against them coming up in, I would say, the week after this one. Who knows if they're affected or not, but how do you ever seen anything like this? What do you think about it?
Well, I'm trying to think about Calgary right now. Let's get Calgary tonight, but there's obviously going to be some more adjustments to the schedule with the game canceled tomorrow. Again, we went through it last week. You just got to read and react. Just make sure you control what you can control, and that's when they tell us to play, that's when we'll play. And if we got to travel again, we'll travel. You just got to keep pounding away. Take care of yourself.
You're kind of getting the short end of the stick in that goofy road trip you had out east. You only got the 3 games. You come home now, you only get 1 game. You're going back out again.
Yeah.
I know that your attitude is, you don't want your team feeling sorry for itself, even if you're getting the short end of the stick. How do you handle that?
Well, you just confront it head on. Like, if you feel sorry for yourself, you're going to be behind. You might as well deal what you can deal with. And that's how we play, how we control our emotions, how we go about our day-to-day. You got to stay focused at the task at hand, and that's finding ways to win hockey games. And sometimes stuff happens that just changes the dynamics of what's going on, or changes the schedule, and you can't let that stuff bother you.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning.
Since you do want to focus on Calgary tonight, I mean, this is a pretty big game. You got a 10-point gap on them. If you can win in regulation, that's 12, and the games are kind of numbering down. And of course, we talked about the COVID situation. So you sense that this is a really big opportunity for you guys tonight to really get into that playoff, the top tier here?
Well, every game, and we talked about it all year, about big 4-point games, and this is one. The teams that are ahead of you, you can always find a way to get motivated to try to catch them, and the ones that are behind you got to stay motivated to stay in front of them. So that being said, it's Calgary's a rivalry game. We've got some points on them, but we want to make sure that we keep them behind us. So it's a huge game for us. I'm sure Calgary's thinking the same way, and they're right.
You've talked a lot since you've come to Edmonton about not chasing games and getting out to good starts, as any team wants to do. But with the way Calgary is set up with the new coach and the way that they play, is it even more important now to get out to good starts so you're not chasing games against that team?
Well, I think you could say that about every team. If team that gets out to a good start, and if you can get a lead, you play to your strengths. You make the other team open up a little bit. But we're expecting a really tight game tonight. They're a desperate team, and we should, coming off our last game, we should be a desperate team also.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
A couple of things, Dave. Have you ever been a coach with a team where you got 3 goalies on your roster? You got Stalock there now.
Yeah.
And does this fall to your goalie coach to tell you, okay, we got to get this guy in a game?
Well, I rely on Dustin a lot when it comes to the goaltending stuff. He's, tactically and physically, and just trying to get a feel for what each guy is doing he's really dialed into them. Now, that being said, it's, we're almost kind of in a playoff mode anyway. So, you have 3 goalies around in the playoffs. So that's kind of the feel we have right now. Stalock's come in. He's trying to get up to speed. He's working hard. Dustin's done a lot of work with him, so he comes on the roster today, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And in Ennis's case, he was the player who went on waivers. Was there any reasoning why it was him as opposed to somebody else?
We didn't want to lose anybody, so you're trying to keep everybody in need, but we needed roster flexibility to get Stalock on. So I guess there's a number of guys you could pick, but there's been a lot of things like that this year that has come down to roster flexibility and the taxi squad, and there's some factors that come into it, I guess, but it's just managing your roster as best you can. And right now we don't want to lose anybody, but we have to get Stalock on. He comes off the non-playing, so somebody had to give us the flexibility to do that.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Dave, when it comes to Stalock, do you plan to use him in a game when you go out east and see what he can do, or is he just an emergency third guy for now?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like he's slowly getting back up to speed, but you also got to recognize he hasn't played this year yet. So we'll just kind of monitor it. I talk to Dustin every day about how he's doing. So we'll see where it goes, and if we feel like there's an opportunity to get him in a game, we might do that. But I like what our two guys are doing right now, so we'll just kind of monitor game by game and see how it goes.
And what does that do for the rotation in practice with guys maybe, now a third guy kind of rotating in, or is he kind of just still going to stick with the taxi squad for a little bit?
Yeah, he gets the extra work with the taxi squad with Wells going down. Now he'll get a lot of extra work there. You don't want to get out of a rhythm, and Stalock is a good pro. He recognizes the two guys that were here, get the majority of reps in practice. That's the role he's in, and he's a real good pro. He accepts that role. But he's also got to get his work in too, to make sure he's ready, just like the other taxi squad guys are. So Dustin does a real good job of that, making sure everybody gets enough work that they feel like they're confident they can play at any time.
Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Dave, is there any update on, I know James Neal was kind of been battling with post-COVID symptoms a little bit. Is he feeling back to where he should be feeling?
No, he's working hard in practice. He's trying to get himself back up to where he like to be. So I give him credit. He's working his butt off, and he's available to play. We just haven't selected him the last few games, but he's available, and he's just got to keep working, and when a chance comes, he'll jump in and get going.
And yesterday you talked about consistency with Caleb Jones and, kind of with and without the puck. We dig into that a little bit more. Like, some games, is it his decisions with the puck? Is it defensive zone positioning? What are the areas where you feel he's been a little too inconsistent?
Well, there's some parts, and you could say the inconsistency about every young defenseman or every defenseman. Period. There's inconsistency. I think Laggy was playing a real shutdown role, a real defined role. That's why we went with him for a while. But we got to feel like we got to get Caleb going too, to see to get him up and playing. It's about trying to get everybody maximizing their capabilities. And Caleb's a puck mover that hopefully we can get him up and going, maybe speed up our game a little bit. So we're just every day we're evaluating where they are and trying to find the best fits and making sure we got everybody trying to get up to play their up to the best they can. And I recognize it's hard sometimes when a player's in for a game, out for a game. So we're trying to make sure that we have everybody up to speed. But it's hard for anybody, let alone a young defenseman, to come in and get going. So we just feel like Caleb tonight gives us maybe a little extra jump with the puck, and we'll see how it goes.
One more, Jason Gregor.
So sorry, just to follow up to that, you mentioned speed up your play. We know that Barry and Nurse play a lot with McDavid. You have Bear and Jones. They're both puck-moving guys. Is it fair to say you'd like to see them with the Draisaitl line a little bit more tonight then?
Well, we'll see how that goes. With Russell and Larson, they'll play probably more of a penalty kill shutdown role. So we'll see how the game goes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, this concludes Dave Tippett's media availability.
Edmonton in overtime. Nurse won the battle, drives it on side, score! Tyler Yamamoto upstairs. They have
Khaira. If you have questions, please use the raise hand function. Start with Rob Tichkowski, Post Media.
Hey, Jujar, the playoff picture seems to be kind of sorting itself out. You've got the 4 at the top and the 3 at the bottom. With Calgary, is this one of those situations where you really don't want to give a team a ray of light that wants to get back into this thing?
Yeah, definitely not. And you know, that's definitely a big thing. But at the same time, we want to keep building our game and winning too. And you know, we want to place ourselves in a good spot come the playoffs. And you know, the higher we can get, the better off we'll be in the long run.
With the COVID thing now, I think 4 of your last 7 scheduled games have been postponed. You've got Vancouver coming up, you know, a week or so from now. Who knows how that's going to go? How do you not get frustrated by what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think it's one of those things where just how the season and the world's been. It's one of those things you have to roll with the punches. And you know, I think the league, they're trying their best to do what they can. And you know, the guys want to play, and at this point, you like I said, you have to roll with the punches, and you know, just be ready when the games are scheduled.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hey, Jujar, with the situation in Vancouver, does it kind of highlight to everyone in the league how vigilant you guys still have to stay when it comes to, you know, trying to keep this virus out of a room, because it could kind of explode pretty quickly?
Definitely. You know, I think some of the American teams have gone through it earlier on, but now it's starting to hit our division. And, you know, just, yeah, like you said, it highlights just how careful we have to be away from the rink. And, you know, it's such a short part of the year where we have to, you know, make a few sacrifices staying in and, you know, not going out for dinner, the grocery store and that kind of stuff. And, you know, for us, it's obviously one of those things where, you know, we want to get to the playoffs, and we want to have a healthy team the whole way and continue to build our team.
And when it comes to this game, you guys have sat on that Montreal game for a few days now. Would you rather just play the next day, or what's it like to kind of have to sit on a kind of a poor effort and wait to play again?
You know, we play so frequently that, you know, that games like that, they're going to happen. For us, it's just minimizing those games. And, you know, I think a day of rest that we got and a practice day, I think was good for us. You know, we came back from a long road trip, and we just got to decompress for a day or so. And now we're back at it. So I don't know if it felt too long. And so I think coming tonight, you know, we're ready to go. We're ready to put ourselves in the right direction again.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Sorry, hi, Jujar. I'm just wondering if you could kind of describe the evolution of your game from, you know, early in the year, not playing a lot, you know, the waivers, whatnot, and then now seemingly finding a pretty decent niche here, an important role on this team.
Yeah, it's you know, it's this season. Obviously, everybody knows the start, and you know, I wasn't thrilled about that either. And for myself, you know, it's just one of those things is staying with the game plan and getting better every day. And you know, I'm still planning to do that. I'm still doing that day in and day out. And now it's just taking advantage of that role that's been given to me, and you know, continuing to prove myself day in and day out.
And what is it with you about you and the Calgary Flames? It seems like you know, that they kind of bring the best out of you in terms of your physicality. Obviously, the fight, the last game, we've had some other fights. They seem to kind of, you ratchet yourself up for these types of games.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. You know, I try to come into every game with the same mindset, and you know, these games are definitely more intense. I think they're definitely hyped up by surrounding parties, and you know, for us as players, we're here to play in that Battle of Alberta, and you know, we don't want to be on the losing end. And for me personally, I think, you know, I fall in with the rest of the guys. They have the same mindset, and you know, we're here to win, and at the end of the day, we're going to do whatever it takes.
Any other questions, media? Thank you. This concludes this morning's media availability.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
And that was Oilers forward Khaira going after head coach Dave Tippett and, of course, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So the Oilers right now 4-2 in the season series against the Calgary Flames. Tonight marks the 7th of 10 meetings so far. And a lot of questions regarding the COVID-19 protocols, of course. Last week, the Oilers were affected with the Montreal Canadiens having to postpone their games for about a week, and looks like the same is going to be happening, and if not even more with the Vancouver Canucks. I know right now they're scheduled to be postponed until April 6th, but a lot of reports this morning from Darren Dreger talking about how at least 8 players, and then on top of that, some coaching staff and some other staff also having some positive COVID-19 tests. So definitely a situation that is going to be continued to be monitored moving forward. So a lot of questions about that, but a lot of the focus is also on the Calgary Flames tonight, who are stumbling in coming into Rogers Place, 1-4 in their last 5 games, 4-6 in their last 10 games. As I take a look at our preview on EdmontonOilers.com, written by our good friend Paul Gazzola. The Oilers outscoring the Flames 26-17 so far in the season series. Again, 4-2 for the Oilers. McDavid leads all players with 6 goals and 8 assists for 14 points in just 6 contests. Leon Draisaitl not far behind with 1 goal and 8 points. And then Tyson Barrie has 7 assists. All 3, of course, are the 3 leading scorers for the Edmonton Oilers overall. So it's the Battle of Alberta tonight, 7 p.m. Rogers Place in the Ice District. Should be a good one. Of course, we'll have all of the post-game coverage for you right here on Oilers TV and EdmontonOilers.com. For my producer, Brock Bood, I'm Tony Barr signing off. Thank you for making us a part of your morning and wishing you a wonderful Good Friday.